Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com.
And this is Christopher. Without Eric. Eric is running a few minutes late. He'll be here, I believe, within 10 minutes or so. This is July the 1st, 2010. This is the Incoherent Ramblings of C&E, broadcasting live from the internationally famous C&E studios here in Greensboro, North Carolina. I hope you're doing well tonight. I sure am. A beautiful day here in Greensboro, North Carolina. It is summer. It has been hot, and today our tailgaters have a very nice treat because it is, I don't know what the temperature is right now, but it has been significantly cooler. Yesterday, I believe it was when I was walking out with Bella, the show's official mascot, around noon or a few minutes after, it was only 75 degrees. And today, when I went out this morning, it was very cool and pleasant. So our tailgaters are enjoying the lovely weather that we have outside. And I'm going to be enjoying it after the show. I think I'm going to go out for a nice walk. We apologize for not being on the air last week. I think it's the first time we didn't have a show at all during the week. There may have been one other time. There have been a few times, I believe, where we've had the show at a different time, maybe earlier in the day on Thursday or on a Wednesday night. However, last week we decided to cancel the show for last week. My wife and I and my stepdaughter, we all went to West Palm Beach, Florida, for my family reunion on my father's side. We have one every 2 years, and so we were leaving early Friday morning from Raleigh, and we didn't want to get up and have to get up really early and drive because my wife and I, neither one of us are morning people. So we decided to go down Thursday evening, spend the night there, and only be a couple miles from the airport. And that ended up working very well for us. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there was just too much going on, work-wise, personal life-wise, getting ready for the trip and whatnot, to reschedule it to where Eric and I both could be here. So we just went ahead and made the executive decision and canceled the show for last week. And I apologize. I did not get any correspondence out to our listeners posting on our page that we were canceling the show. If you stop by live, or if you try to download the show from iTunes or any of our other outlets where you can download our show from, and that you didn't see it there, it's not a mistake. It just did not come to fruition, so we apologize. If you want to reach us, you can call us at 646-716-6928, and that's our guest call-in number. You can also go to blogtalkradio.com/incoherent ramblings, where you can listen both live or streaming older episodes. You can download older episodes. You can also get information about our MySpace, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. If you haven't already, feel free to go sign up and send us a friend request. And also, you can go to iTunes. It's a very cool thing. You can go to iTunes and search for Incoherent Ramblings. Subscribe to our channel. It is free of charge, no cost to you. That's just how we are. We are benevolent. So feel free to go out and connect with us on any of the social media networks that you may want to do, and we would gladly invite you to do so. So let's see here. Yes, we had a nice trip to West Palm Beach. It was hot, but no hotter than it is here in Greensboro, North Carolina, and no more humid either. So used to the weather, just not used to the angle of the sun. Down there you are closer to the equator, so it's a little bit brighter and more intense. However, we handled the weather just fine. Had a very nice time seeing aunts and uncles and cousins, second cousins, third cousins. It could be a large affair. My father was one of 12 siblings. Each of those 11 other brothers and sisters all have children except for one. So my first cousin, my list of first cousins is quite expansive, as you might imagine, because my mother was one of 8, and all of her siblings had children as well. So hard to keep track of, definitely overwhelming for Lauren being introduced to person after person after person. If she remembers half of them, she'll be doing better than most people would. An environment like that can be overwhelming. So, where is my co-host, Eric? I just don't know. He did send a text a few minutes late. So, let's see here. We have a quick little follow-up on the young lady, 16-year-old, that was trying to sail around the world. Eric and I both said that we believe that was a little, maybe she's a little young for that. But she was found. She is saved. She has been saved. Her and her father both insist she was prepared for danger. However, let's see here. 16-year-old Abby Sunderland expressed no anger Wednesday at those who have harshly criticized her and her family for undertaking such a dangerous adventure. During an interview, her and her father said the criticism was coming from people who don't know Abby's skills and dedication or the amount of preparation and care that went into her attempt to circumnavigate the globe in her sailboat. I think it's mainly because people don't understand. Not a lot of people sail, especially not my age, and I think it's mainly they can't understand why I do it. And they don't fully understand what I did out there and why I did it. Well, young Abby, first and foremost, I'm glad that you were found and saved. And second, I will freely and openly admit that I truly don't understand what you were doing out there. I don't know your skill and dedication, nor do I know the amount of preparation. What I do know is that you are a 16-year-old young lady who is really still just a child, and this globe is absolutely ginormous, and sailing around it by yourself, regardless of your age, is a truly dangerous task for anyone. I would hope, regardless of my knowledge of your skills or dedication, that you would agree with me there. By no means am I saying that you aren't skilled and prepared or dedicated. On the contrary, I would say you must be extremely skilled, prepared, and dedicated to feel you could undertake such a task. Nonetheless, I'm glad that young Abby did not get upset at the people that were questioning it. Instead, she just explained why she thought that she was prepared. And first and foremost, like we said, we're glad that she was rescued. It could have been a different story had she had not been saved sooner. Well, let's see here. See on our Heroes and Angels page, the only new stuff is video, and video does not translate that well when you're doing a radio show. So nothing to report there. We'll go over here to the Wonderful World of News, the News of Wonderful World off of MSNBC. It's a young lady that is taking it upon herself to make drawings, and then she sells them, and then she raises money for the wildlife, mainly birds, that are suffering down in the Gulf of Mexico from the oil spill, the oil, whatever it is, the inexcusable mess that has been made out there in the ocean. Olivia Boulaire doesn't have time for anything else these days except to draw and paint. But that's okay for the artistic fifth grader because everything she does is for the birds. The Islip, New York girl, who turns 11 on Friday, has raised an estimated $80,000 by sending her sketches and paintings of birds to people who donate to organizations helping with relief efforts in the Gulf of Mexico spill disaster. I do some in the mornings and some in the afternoons, and weekends are really the time for me to get cracking at them, Olivia told MSNBC. Thursday in a telephone interview, and her parents were headed to the Gulf for a visit. Olivia came up with the idea to help the birds in the Gulf 4 days after the Deepwater Horizon rig exploded on April 20th, killing 11 workers and triggering the nation's worst oil spill. Her father's family grew up in Alabama, and she has spent vacations in the Gulf. Olivia heard about the oil spill, and she immediately thought of the birds. She's a bird lover. She knew they were nesting, and she knew the spill would bring an incredible change to their habitat. So she wrote to the National Audubon Society saying she would like to help by doing drawings and giving the wildlife conservation group any money she raised. She signed it a bit precociously, Olivia Buller, 11 years old and willing to help. Thus was born Olivia's Save the Gulf campaign. In addition to purchasing one of Olivia's drawings, the Audubon Society collaborated with her family to create a fundraising program whereby Olivia sends one of her original paintings to anyone who donates to any of the several organizations helping wildlife in the Gulf. AOL got on board by giving Olivia her own artist gallery on its site and donating $25,000 to Audubon in her name. She creates her artwork with heavy stock paper, ebony pencil, and watercolors. She has sent out about 150 original illustrations so far and has capped the number at 500, after which contributors will receive limited edition prints. The Audubon Society is overseeing the donation process. That's a pretty cool story. 11-year-old young lady from New York using her God-given artistic talent and ability to make a difference in a disaster that's thousands of miles from where she lives. So I definitely applaud this young lady. There's really not that much good news going on in the world, and that's sad if you really think about it. Done a couple more stories. I think I hear Eric coming down here, who will be joining us momentarily. Yes, here he is. And now we have the Incoherent Ramblings of C and E.
There you go.
How are you, Eric?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Sorry, I was a few minutes late.
That's fine. I've just been rambling by myself.
Have we had any stories yet?
I have had one about a young lady that decided that she likes to draw and paint.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves birds, and she was worried about the birds down in the Gulf of Mexico. So she contacted the Audubon Society and said, hey, how about I sell one of my paintings and give you the money? And they were like, how about you just start sending your paintings out to everybody that donates to, legitimate organizations? And so they said yes. They capped it at 150.
150 paintings?
Yeah. 500 paintings.
Holy smokes.
Let's see here. Let me see. Make sure I'm telling you correctly. Yeah, she sent out about 150 so far. They've capped it at 500. After that, the people receive limited edition prints.
Wow.
However, AOL has given her own website as kind of like a gallery, and has donated $25,000 in her name. And she sent out, as I said, about 150 paintings so far. And
how much you have to donate to get a painting?
Just whatever.
Really?
That doesn't say there's a minimum.
Well, they should have a minimum. That's a lot of work.
And right now, so far, she has raised $80,000. So I thought that was pretty impressive.
How much?
$80,000.
$80,000. That is.
Yeah. So she's done a very good job, and she's only 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
He's 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. That's inspirational. I need to tell Megan about that. I have a 10-year-old. Here's an 11-year-old, one girl that's 1 year older. Let me see her. They're going to show pictures of her paintings?
Right here in this video, you can see the skill. You can see. She uses heavy cardstock, an ebony pencil, and watercolors.
Huh.
And
isn't that amazing? An 11-year-old kid has raised $80,000.
Mm-hmm.
Just wow.
I thought that was a cool story.
That is beyond cool.
Maybe BP could hire her, give her a job.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any good news stories for us?
I have a lot of stories.
Okay.
I don't think any of them good.
Well, I only have I think one or I only have a couple of good news stories.
This is more a thought-provoking one.
Oh, well, sometimes we're here to provoke thought. We have a very good news story.
Yes, we have a mobility scooter-related story. So
yes.
That is always good.
That is always good, regardless of the content. Let me get these good news stories out.
And I'll sort through these and see if there's any that can be construed.
Maybe starts off with a decapitation or dismemberment,
exactly.
Something like that.
That's how usually mine starts.
Yeah. A Maine man who lost his high school class ring 27 years ago while swimming in a quarry.
Is he a Maine man?
Maine.
Maine, okay.
A man who lives in Maine.
Okay.
Found his class ring that he lost 27 years ago swimming in a quarry right where he thought it was all along.
That's right where I left it.
Yeah. The owner of the Grant Hill Quarry in Hallowell is draining it to restart mining. When Jason Cottle saw a picture in the local journal in Augusta of the draining, he decided to go look. The 45-year-old carpenter from Gardiner found it Thursday on a ledge that would have been 35 feet under the water line, right where he and his friends used to swim. He also found other jewelry, clothing, keys, 4 pairs of glasses, unexploded blasting caps, $3 and change, and a safe with a hole cut in the side. Maybe that was to give your girlfriend something in a safe. Well, okay, I'm not going to do that. Cottle said he also found the diving mask he lost when he was looking for the ring back in 1983.
Where were they? They were underwater.
35 feet underwater in a quarry.
And there's a certain ledge that everything seems to get pushed towards, huh?
Yeah. So he found the ring that he lost 27 years ago, and then he found the mask that he lost while looking for the ring. So
feels like he was looking in the right spot.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I have a story. It's not really good. It's not bad. It's neutral. But it had a local city was mentioned.
Okay.
So that brought my attention to it. Sandwich, Massachusetts revels in yummy name. So apparently there's a Reader's Digest list cities with funny names, and they have the 24 funniest town named cities.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandwich, Massachusetts was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was listed as number one. There's Boring, Oregon.
Yeah.
Why not Mississippi?
Why not?
The June-July issue of Reader's Digest features the list, which names off a few possibilities, like Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Climax, North Carolina.
Yeah. Climax.
I've driven many of them. To Climax, North Carolina. Let's see here. That's right around the corner from us.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if it lists any of the other ones, or if you have to buy the magazine to get it. Oatmeal, Texas. Pie Town, New Mexico. I guess that's all it's mentioned.
Well,
you don't have to buy that issue.
They're really funny, odd names, especially the little towns. There's a little town here in North Carolina called Black Ankle, which I've always found to be amusing.
Black Ankle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of amusing.
Why would you name your town that? I don't know. There's no telling.
Maybe the founder had a black ankle.
He could have. Maybe he was. No, I'll just leave it right there. Okay. Well, we always, anytime we see a story about a lottery winner, we usually read it because it's good news for them.
Right.
This comes from your home state. The Ohio man who bought a lucky Powerball ticket for himself and coworkers has killed his coworkers. Sorry, wait a second. Sorry. At a Detroit auto plant, it says, learning they won was literally like a dream. William Shanto of Curtis and 13 other Chrysler employees who all live in Michigan share one of two winning tickets in the $96.9 million Powerball drawing from last week. They claimed their prize Monday in Toledo and chose to take a lump sum cash payment worth about $25.1 million after taxes, and each of the auto workers, each of them will get $1.2 million. In a statement, Shanto says he had a dream the night before the drawing that they'd won. He says when he went back to Toledo area store where he bought the ticket and verified he had a winner, bells and whistles went off. The other winning ticket was sold in Montana. So
haven't heard about them. Isn't that just a good news story for them?
Apparently, they might be keeping it on the hush.
There you go.
That's what I would do. I mean, that's what I did. Yeah, I mean, this has got Law and Order written all over it, though. 12 people show up dead in the Chrysler plant. He's in like Antigua. I mean, personally, I wouldn't even think if I was going to split something like that, I would be so excited that we all won. I wouldn't even think of that. But you have to give the guy some credit for stepping forward and letting them know they won, because he could have been like, "Oh, that's a ticket my wife bought over the pumpkin munch," and kept it all for himself. So, that's definitely, and there would be no way that people could prove or disprove. So, not only is this a good story about winning, but in my opinion, honesty on his part. Yes. So personally,
25 million.
25 versus 1.2 million. I would have said, well, my neighbor bought this and gave it, and he gave it to me, and then he went out of the country, and I'm holding it for. I would have come up with something personally. I don't know, but good for him. And the last good news story It's about a Hawaiian hairdresser buys a plane ticket for the homeless.
Huh.
A Hawaii hairdresser is helping send a homeless man from Seattle back home to be with his ailing father. Denise Sakai answered a call from State Representative John Mizuno for donations to send Gregory Reese to Washington State. Instead of just a partial donation, she bought Reese a $299 ticket online for a flight Thursday to Seattle. She read about Reese in the paper and was touched that he wanted to be with his dad. Reese became homeless when 2 job offers fell through in Hawaii. The 39-year-old said his father has lung cancer and cannot afford a ticket to bring him back. Representative Mizuno hopes to create a program to send more homeless from the mainland back home to get them out of his state.
Let's send these homeless back where they came from.
Hey, we have an image to uphold. So,
I have a story about a homeless
do you?
woman. Is that a man or a woman in that story?
It's a man.
I have a story about a homeless
I have
woman.
a teaser.
Oh, okay.
A story about maggots.
I saw it on the news last night.
So, and it
I
also
saw
has
a
to do
live
with
video
planes.
of it.
So, okay. That's just a little teaser.
Anyway, this is my story about the homeless woman. Stabbing followed loud sex fight.
Uh-huh.
This happened in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Did you say a stabbing?
Police in South Carolina said a man allegedly stabbed his roommate during an argument about how loud he was being during sex with a homeless woman.
Recently flown in from Hawaii.
Investigators said the 58-year-old victim told him he had returned to his Myrtle Beach home to find his roommate, Russell Willis Shepard, Jr., having loud sex with a homeless woman. The victim told police he waited outside the apartment for a time before entering.
The victim? Oh my God, that's great. The victim.
To Shepard, he said an argument broke out and Shepard stabbed him in the hand. So, I think that his roommate was a real looking for having sex with a homeless woman, but I don't know.
I think
everyone lost there.
I just think it's funny.
Lose.
I just think it's funny they called him a victim. That's ridiculous. Oh, that was a good one. Well, next time you go and decide you're going to rob a rob a store, you should make sure there aren't any policemen there.
There you go.
A would-be robber wielding a chain. He came prepared. At a
usually the weapon of choice for robbery.
Usually not. At a San Diego Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant, didn't count on one of the customers being an armed, off-duty, plainclothes police sergeant. Witnesses said the man barged in Saturday afternoon, smashed his heavy chain on the counter, and ordered all the employees into the kitchen. But before he could open the cash register, the sergeant pointed his gun at the man and ordered him to the ground. Witnesses said the suspect demanded to see the officer's badge, and the sergeant complied. The suspect was arrested for attempted armed robbery. Apparently, armed with a chain, I guess, would count as armed robbery. I thought it was funny. What position are you in to demand to see someone's badge when they have a gun on you? Right. None whatsoever. But then if the sergeant complies, it's like, okay, here's my badge.
Maybe he has to.
Yeah.
If he's never questioned, maybe he's forced to.
Maybe so. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. So it seems a little bit demanding by this guy. Demanding, like I wouldn't, it's like I said, he wasn't really in a position to demand anything. So
I have a story about police officers.
Okay. See, today we're being congruent.
We are.
Just segue in from one story to the next.
Police said to tase grandmother.
Right.
Okay. Police tasered an 86-year-old disabled grandmother in her bed and stepped on her oxygen hose until she couldn't breathe.
I'm surprised you didn't leave with this as a good news story. She's disabled. She's disabled.
She's disabled.
She's bedridden on oxygen, and they tased her while stepping on, cutting off her oxygen.
Yes, because the policeman said she took a more aggressive posture in bed. Really, he felt threatened.
I hope, for his sake, she hasn't had a gun.
No.
Because if not, I'm really not sure what posture an 86-year-old bedridden grandmother could have taken where he felt the need to tase her.
He said in his report that the 86-year-old plaintiff took a more aggressive posture in her bed and that he was fearful for his safety and the safety of others. Lonnie, the grandson, said, "Don't tase my granny."
Don't tase granny, bro.
Don't tase my granny. In which they responded, they would tase her.
Done.
So they pulled him out of the apartment, took him down to the floor, handcuffed him, placed him in the backseat of a police car. Then the police proceeded to approach Mrs. Warner in her bed, stepped on her oxygen hose until she began to suffer oxygen deprivation. The police then fired a taser at her. Only one wire struck her in the left arm. Police then fired a second taser, striking her in the right arm, right upper middle chest, and applied high voltage, causing burns to her chest and extreme pain until she passed out.
I feel sorry for her, but we had to laugh at her expense. That's a funny story.
Apparently, she was not quite. She was yelling at them to get out, being belligerent. And she was, not altogether there mentally, apparently, according to them.
Right.
But I don't care. It doesn't seem like a just reason to tase an 86-year-old disabled, oxygen bedridden.
Right. I actually defended the police officer that tased the granny in Texas, but she was like 57.
Right.
And she was like cursing at him and like shoving him.
That video. That was terrible.
Like when I heard about it, I was like, man, that guy should be fired. But then when I watched the video, I was like, well, everybody's human. I would have tased her too.
Yeah.
But this one, I really don't know how, regardless of what they say, I don't know what they could say to where you would ever like take the officer's side in the scenario. I mean, that's just, there's really nothing there.
Right.
Well, my next story is just if you're this is a PSA, public service announcement. So that's what we're here for. If you were in Bozeman, Montana, or if you were thinking about going to the Valley View Golf Club, you might want to steer clear because right now they have a large amount of mountain lions kind of going around the golf course into that area. So a little public service announcement for our Montana listeners. Because we are international, but we have quite the following in Montana.
Yes. So
just throwing that out there.
I'm trying to find a segue. And can't.
I can't either.
No Montana stories.
No mountain lions.
No mountain lions.
No golf.
No golf.
3 X-rays of Hollywood actress Marilyn Monroe's chest and pelvis taken during a hospital visit have sold for more than 10 times their pre-sale estimates, earning $45,000. Auction house Julian said in a statement the sale was part of an auction Hollywood Legends memorabilia which took place at Planet Hollywood. They expected the X-rays to go from $800 to $1,200 each. All in total, they went for $45,000. We have a picture here of one of them where you can see her rib cage and her breasts.
It's a very good chest X-ray.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking chest.
Yeah, it is.
X-ray.
So,
I saw a story where a lock of Napoleon's hair went for $13,000.
No. How do they know it was actually his hair?
I don't know. But they sold it as such. Here's a story. This one comes from Fruita, Colorado. A Western Slope woman is to be believed. Now, if a Western Slope woman is to be believed, vampires may be lurking in Colorado's Grand Valley. The woman claims she spotted a vampire in the middle of a dirt road near Fruita, Colorado, Sunday night. She told Colorado state troopers she was startled by the undead being, threw her SUV into reverse, and crashed into a canal. She was not injured.
She had Tiger Woods with her?
No. The state troopers say the woman's husband arrived at the scene and took her home. The vampire, which was not seen by anyone else, apparently let her get away. Troopers do not suspect drugs or alcohol to be a factor in the crash. I just like that. Startled by the undead being.
I wonder why nobody else saw this undead being.
Looking in the rearview mirror.
Oh. We have several stories from Ohio today.
Okay.
This comes to us from Cleveland. Move over, greeting cards with sounds or smells. A new entry from an Ohio company plays to another sense, the sense of taste.
Ooh.
American Greeting Corp on Monday announced the launch of Tasties, a line of cards that come with dissolvable flavor strips meant to be eaten by the recipient. The Cleveland-based company says each seal strip offers a tasty surprise that corresponds to the message on the card. For example, a card that features an image of a cupcake and a line about birthdays providing an excuse to eat cake comes with an insert made to taste like cake. Other cards in the series come with flavors that include donuts, margaritas, and dog poo. I just made up the dog poo part. Well, leave it on, set it on fire and ring the doorbell. So it's kind of a greeting card, if you will.
There you go.
So that strikes me as kind of strange.
Scratch and taste.
Yeah, chew and taste. I don't know. I don't really know if I want to get one of those greeting cards.
We've had some hot weather here lately.
Yeah, yesterday and today have been quite
comfortable. I actually had the windows up in my office today.
But
I never even turned the air on.
Prior to yesterday, it has been quite hot. Yes, absolutely.
This story comes from Montpelier. Hot weather spurs nude walker in Montpelier. What better way to beat the heat than walk naked through the capital city? That was one 18-year-old woman's solution to the humidity on Monday afternoon. A tactic that turned heads and prompted a flurry of phone calls to the Montpelier Police Department. Police identified the woman and spoke to her, but there was little they could do from a law enforcement perspective. That's what I found interesting. As long as they're not exhibiting any kind of overt gestures or communicating any kind of lewd act, then they're within their rights. If we will use the word to do that, the sergeant said. Police did not observe the woman doing anything that violated state laws or city ordinances. We watched her, and there wasn't anything going on that would have violated the ordinance, he said. Martin said that we had an officer go out and speak with a woman whom he declined to name. She just said that it was a hot day, and I guess she was out taking a walk.
Was she homeless?
She was not homeless.
That would have been a good time.
The nudity issue has come up in the past from Montpelier city officials surrounding the annual naked bike ride, which is allowed to happen in the city for the same reasons the pants-free pedestrian was allowed to saunter through the city Monday. Under the laws and ordinances, you can be nude outside, but can't disrobe outside.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting.
So if you enter the open nude, then you're within your rights.
But if you undress while in the outside,
Gotcha.
That's forbidden.
Well, it's kind of like, a lot of people don't realize, like, the women that were protesting saying men can go topless, why can't women? and they were trying to make a statement. One of the ironic and humorous things of that story we had a couple months ago was the town that the organizer lives in, she can do that legally. She was like, yeah, it's not right. Men can do it, women can't, but they can. They just choose not to.
Right.
So, well, we've gone from chew and taste cards to meat-flavored vodka. This sounds odd to me. This comes from Wasilla.
I'd try it, though.
Oh, you try it?
I would try it.
Prepare your palate for carnivorous cocktails. The Alaska Distillery in Wasilla just recently launched its smoked salmon-flavored vodka about a year after Seattle-based Black Rock Spirits introduced a bacon-flavored vodka. Both savory spirits were intended to complement Bloody Marys, but are finding wider uses among mixologists. I think there was some madness and some drunkenness involved, honestly, says the distillery partner. The intent was to market local vodka, which would stand out among numerous other bottles on the liquor store shelves. I was trying to think of something Alaskan. What's more Alaskan than smoked salmon?
Smoked salmon, sex on the beach.
With a homeless one.
With a homeless one. I was thinking of mixed drinks.
Goes on to say Foster and McDonald, another partner, said its current formula took 48 tries, and some of their first 47 attempts were downright disgusting. Maybe they put some vodka in a blender and had a salmon smoothie.
This is our vodka and Basomatic.
They didn't clean it or anything. Just put the whole fish in there. That was a big blender. Definitely the first few times we had our heavy bucket close by, it was pretty bad and greasy. But once we got it down and honed in on where the real secret was of making it, it was a fun, and the games after that, and all the games ensued. Yes, so that to me, honestly, that sounds disgusting, but I don't know.
This is what I think sounds disgusting. A French convict who killed his cellmate and ate his lung
has been sent back to Seattle.
Smoked salmon vodka
and some fava beans.
Was sentenced to 30 years in prison.
He's in prison.
He got 30 more years. I would think that that crime might get a worse punishment in 30 years.
Right.
Killing somebody and eating their lung. 30 years. Not life.
Wonder how long he's already in for.
That is a good question.
It may just be to save face. I mean, he may be in there for life anyhow. And so it's like, we're taking on 30 years. I mean, what's the point? If he's cutting someone open and eating their lung, he's obviously mentally disturbed.
Let me tell you, they had the fight that started out was because
there was a homeless woman on the conjugal visit.
One of the inmates asked the other one to wash his hands after he'd used a toilet. And when he didn't, he beat him, cut open his chest with a razor blade and ate his lung.
Oh, it's justified.
Thinking that it was the heart, he ate the lung raw.
I mean, now that you've read the rest of the story,
right.
Why did he get 30 years? I mean, the guy should have washed his hands.
This is what the guy says. What I did, I like doing. That was his comment to it.
I often eat lung. Why do you think I'm in prison? They might want to start making his his cellmate, people that are on death row.
He's being kept in isolation. It's a lung-free environment.
He does not, like the granny, have to be hooked up to oxygen, though. He's had a third lung now.
Okay.
I don't like the red light cameras that take your picture. I don't have a problem with people getting tickets for running red lights.
Right.
I just think it's kind of ridiculous. The police department should be focusing in on true criminals.
Right.
And here's a story of.
Plus, you know, my point I made in the past when we talked about this, what if somebody else drive my car and gets ticket?
Right.
It's not right.
Right. Exactly. Well, here's a little ironic twist. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, traffic cameras have snapped 26 local patrol cars speeding and running red lights in eastern Iowa. Cedar Rapids Police Chief Greg Graham said 6 officers have been issued letters of discipline because they didn't have their patrol cars lights and sirens operating when they were speeding to a call. He said 5 were not violations, and the remaining 15 instances are under review. Cedar Rapids Police have also notified Marion Police and the Lynn County Sheriff's Department of possible violations by their personnel and are investigating infractions by city buses and a garbage truck. It's plural of everything: buses, cars, you know, and a garbage truck. And a garbage truck. So apparently they.
I don't often see garbage trucks speeding.
No. There was apparently a refuse engineer that was in a hurry, and that's a good point. I mean, those things have a hard time doing about 5 miles an hour. So,
They had a waste management emergency.
Marion Police Chief Harry Daugherty said authorities must be consistent and show no favoritism. So, thought that was an interesting story. You know, it reminds me. I think I even said it on our show. I was on my way home from a massage. And I came up to a red light. I glanced over, and there was a Greensboro city police officer sitting there texting, looking at his text, his cell phone, and on the internet on his laptop, which I thought was not a big deal because it's at a red light. And it was right there on High Point Road going west at that little side street, like if you were to go down to where the new cinema is. The next stoplight is Holden, so that's maybe a quarter of a mile, right? No more than a half a mile. From that red light all the way to Holden Road, he was still texting the entire way because I stayed beside of him and made sure that I was watching him, which was probably just as dangerous as what he was doing, but I just wanted to see if he did. And he texted the entire way and looked up last second as he was getting ready to almost plow into the car in front of him, and he slammed on brakes. So I was just wondering, if I had done that, he could have stopped and given me a ticket. Who can give him a ticket?
That's true.
Kind of curious. So I wrote down his car number, and I sent an anonymous email to the Greensboro City Police Department. I should have taken a picture of it, but then I would have been using my phone too. So.
Dude, I'm bad at it. I like to play games at red lights, and I'm not done with them by the time. So I'll be playing hearts and spades as I'm driving.
Right.
I wonder if there's a law against it. I'm not texting. I'm not talking on the phone. There's a law against playing cards on the phone.
I'm curled up in the sleep, napping, driving with my foot.
Oh, speaking of driving, we have this is a story about a dog who runs over his owner in his own truck.
Sparky's revenge.
Originator of Florida. A man was reportedly run over by his own truck after his dog put it into gear. The sheriff's office reported that a 43-year-old Christopher Bishop was checking under his Ford F-150 for oil leaks Sunday evening. He had put the running truck into neutral and left the driver's door open while he was under the truck. Bishop's bulldog, Hazy, jumped into the truck and knocked the vehicle into gear. The truck rolled over the left side of Bishop's body. Bishop managed to get up, stop the vehicle, and go into the house. After several hours of pain, Bishop finally called for help. He was taken to a nearby hospital with injuries that were not considered life-threatening.
Here we have a story from Pennsylvania, stealing from jail. Mm-hmm. A couple were charged with stealing nearly $2,000 from a central Pennsylvania jail by using a routing number from a check the woman got from the jail after her release last year. Police said a 61-year-old man and his 51-year-old wife used the routing number to use Blair County jail account to pay their utility bills and transfer $179 to the man's bank account. I was reading that earlier, and I was like, what? Not 150, not 200, not 175, but 179. That should do it. That'll cover this weekend. The wife got the routing number when she received a check for $6.95 to reimburse her for money remaining in her inmate expense account after her release on unrelated theft charges in October. The couple pleaded not guilty, which is confusing, and faced a preliminary hearing in July. They're going to make a little changes to hopefully circumvent that from happening in the future. I just thought it was funny. She was in jail for theft, and when she's released, commits theft against the jail she was in, only to have to turn around and go right back there.
I didn't bring the story, but I had read a story about inmates who had fraudulently claimed that they were new home owners and took advantage of the tax credit this past year while they were in jail. To the tune of like $26. That happens so often. $26 million was paid out incorrectly through that tax credit to convicts or inmates who fraudulently claimed that tax credit on the taxes last year. Crazy, huh?
It is.
Well, you know, we've all been in a situation where we were stuck at work and wanted to go home early. Okay. This woman set her office on fire to go home.
She has initiative.
Newport Richey, Florida. A Florida woman accused of starting an office fire to get sent home early with pay pleaded guilty to criminal mischief.
Arson?
No, we like that charge.
Yes.
The Pasco County Sheriff's Office said Michelle Perino, 40, drew suspicion during a meeting of Bayonet Point Oxygen employees when she mentioned the May 12, 2009 fire had started in a filing cabinet before workers had been informed of the fire's origins. The investigators said a friend of Perino's told them she had admitted to tripping the main circuit breaker and adjusting phones to block incoming calls and bids to go home early without sacrificing the day's pay. Perino was sentenced to 9 months imprisonment, followed by 5 years of probation. She was ordered to pay the company she worked for $4,800 in restitution and banned from contacting the company or its employees. So I think that backfired.
So did she get fired?
Apparently so. She can't contact them.
Well, a city councilor in Massachusetts thinks he's come up with a way to stop people from looking at pornography on the public library computers. Name them and shame them. Quincy councilor Daniel Raimondi has asked Mayor Thomas Koch to make public a list of people who have viewed pornography on library computers within the past year. The council unanimously approved the resolution on the idea last week. Library Director Ann McLaughlin tells the Patriot Ledger that using library computers to access pornography is against policy, and violators are given 2 warnings before they are banned. She says she's not sure publicly naming the violators would work. A spokesman for the mayor says the city's legal department is reviewing Raimondi's request. I really don't know what there is to review about it. They don't have a right to privacy because they're on a public computer doing something they're not supposed to be doing. If they were home, that would be different.
Right.
But if they're on the, and also, why do they get 2 strikes and they're out? Unless it's just an issue of
accidentally going to it.
Right, or a pop-up or something like that.
Right.
Or typing in a .com instead of .gov.
Doing a search for, I don't know, Oriental rugs.
Yeah.
You can come up with.
Yeah, I guess.
Wrong site.
I can see that, but
you can accidentally stumble into some of these sites.
No, absolutely. So I just don't really see what there is to review about it, and if there is a law that would keep them from going public with it, then it's a stupid law. Right.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think they should do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be much of it. It would be a deterrent for some people. It would.
It would.
Maybe not for all. Some people would be like, I don't care.
Hey, more than.
I was looking for a librarian.
I'm proud of it.
So, Interesting thing there. Hopefully we'll get an update on that here in a couple weeks.
Texas store sells American flag with 61 stars. You can get some deals at a dollar store. One Texas man couldn't believe what he saw when the American flag he purchased at Dollar Tree store in Dallas had 11 extra stars emblazoned on Old Glory. You can kind of see the stars are all crooked, and if you count them, there's actually 61 stars, he said. So just said he went back to the store where he bought the flag and sent an email message to the marketing company in Virginia that made it, hoping they might address the error. I kind of let them know that there were 50 states in the United States. And they need to correct this, or at least get the Chinese supplier to correct it. The Dollar Tree's assistant store manager told him that the flag is sold as a patriotic banner and not as an American flag.
Right.
And anyway, I thought that was funny. I don't know why.
Well, they probably knew, and they just didn't want to eat the cost, so they just sell them anyhow.
Right.
I'll sell this at the Dollar Tree. Those people can't count.
Get a little extra. We're not charging anything more for it.
Hey, I mean, really, that's the way you can look at it.
That's right.
You're getting 11 extra stars for $1. I mean, that's good. Actually, a good deal. What is he complaining about?
Possibly 25 years from now, when we have 11 more states.
Be a collector's item.
150 years. He'll be ready. He won't have to go out and buy it anyway then.
Absolutely. Well, I had the teaser earlier.
Yes.
I just recently flew this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Maggots falling from an overhead bin from a spoiled container of meat. Meat flavored vodka. Forced the U.S. Airways flight to return to the gate so the bins could be cleaned. Passenger Donna Adamo said she noticed a couple of flies on the flight when she got to her seat, but didn't think much of it. Then, as the plane was taxiing, she heard a passenger behind her causing a commotion and refusing to take her seat. Then I heard the word maggot, and that kind of got everybody creeped out. All of a sudden, I felt somebody flick the back of my hair, and on the front of me came a maggot. A passenger had the container in a carry-on bag and brought it in Monday's flight heading from Atlanta to Charlotte. The pilot announced that they were returning to the gate because of a minor emergency on board, and the flight attendants told everyone to sit down and not to eat the rice. It felt like they were crawling all over me because it only takes one maggot to upset your world. And as they're telling me to stay calm and seated, I see a maggot looking back at me, and I'm thinking, these are anaerobic flesh-eating larvae that the flight attendants don't have to sit with. A shaky cell phone shot by Adamo as passengers deplane shows a small white maggot wiggling across the seat. Once the plane returned to the gate, the passengers were asked to get off. A crew boarded to clean the plane. The flight continued on to Charlotte, where the plane was taken out of service and fumigated out of an abundance of caution. The passenger who brought the spoiled meat on board did not plane and was put on a different flight. So that's pretty disgusting.
That is pretty disgusting. I saw that on the news last night, the video of it.
You actually saw the video?
Yes, because it was the person sitting in front of the guy was a reporter.
Right.
So she got her camera phone out, and she was recording these maggots crawling all over the chairs and stuff. It was so disgusting.
And I mean, the people probably want to blame the airline.
They were at fault for letting a guy through. You can't let somebody on with raw meat.
How did they know?
That you got to check their bags. What kind of security check do they have if the guy's going through with raw meat?
Yeah, but they don't go through each individual bag. They just put it through the X-ray scanner, and they only look for certain things in the metal detector.
Oh, yeah. That seems that should be.
Well, that wouldn't have been the airline. That would have been TSA.
Right. That's who's at fault. Yeah. We ran out of time for our disabled man given a 3-year ban for being drunk in charge of a mobility scooter story.
That's a teaser for next week. We will lead with that story next week. We'll talk to you guys later.
This has been Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, and we would like to thank you for listening to our show today. Don't forget to tune in for next week's show live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we are every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time.